Hello guys, welcome to my new video, and today we'll be talking about my preparation for patch 9.2, what I'm going to be doing during the patch launch, what's the first week going to be like, what to do in terms of Mythic Plus, what to do in terms of preparation for Mythic raiding, what to do in terms of Zerath Mortis and what's going on, what to expect during the launch, what to do before the launch, and honestly all this information is going to be split up in terms of preparation and in terms of what to do after the patch, but the preparation part can also be applied when the patch launches. But first, let's go and get started with preparation for patch 9.2, and that is going to be renown grinding. Now, if you're watching this video when the patch launched, you can still use this information. It's pretty readily available, but right now you can see here I'm on my Resto Druid, and my Resto Druid is going to be swapping Covenants. Now, if you're not level 80 on renown, you should continue and try and get at least one Covenant level 80, because if you have one Covenant level 80, that means you can freely swap between Covenants without the penalty of having to wait. And this is something that was introduced in 9.15 and made the patch a lot easier because you can freely swap Covenants. So make sure you get level 80 on at least one Covenant. We're in Erebos, we're in this place right here, and we're swapping Covenants. We're not going Ventier, we're going Necrolord, because Necrolord is looking pretty good for Restoration Druid. You have to talk to this guy, just go through the dialogue, and you're Necrolord. Now, you will get a quest there, you can go through depending on whether you completed it on other characters. You will unlock soul binds and things like that. Soul binds are going to be very important, but I'm not going to go through the process of kind of improving your Covenant. I'm going through the process of how to get to level 80 renown as quickly as possible on your new Covenant, and that is going to be, in my case, Necrolord. Now, before you're going to go to do the quest that you just received, before you're going to fly to your Necrolord home, you have to get and pick up, and this is going to reduce your grind significantly. Right outside of the flight point, you will see this guy, and this guy will be selling you Broken Mark of Distinction. You buy this for 500 gold, you use this from your bags, and this is going to give you 40 renown instantly. So now you have 40 more renown to grind to reach level 80. Keep in mind, the last couple of levels do have a quest that needs to be completed in order to get to 80, but that's something that you're going to encounter at the very end. So how do I get the last 40 renown really quickly, and what should I do? So follow the route here and jump down, and we're going to go Chorgast or Torghast. And Torghast, I know it's not the most fulfilling content out there, but it is the best way to farm renown because it also gives you currency that you're going to need. You will need this currency in order to craft new legendaries, recraft legendaries in 9.2. So you're kind of shooting two birds with one stone in terms of doing Torghast. And Torghast, because of this reason, is going to be the most efficient way to prepare for 9.2. And even when 9.2 launches, you might actually have to visit it again in order to recraft some legendaries. So when you're about to do Torghast, you'll be in this room. You might be a little bit confused because different wings are going to be open on different weeks, and there's going to be different blessings and debuffs and all of that. But the general consensus based on the community findings is that you're going to spam level 9 renown. Now, renown at the end of the run is not guaranteed depending on how high of a renown level you are. So the higher renown you are, the lower chance of getting renown at the end of the Torghast run. But level 9 is so fast, depending on which class you play and things like that. Other classes are going to have an easier time. Resto Shaman is really great at this. But level 9 is a nice sweet spot that most likely you're going to get renown from each run. But it's going to diminish later down the line. So you run level 9 and you queue up for this. And blessings are going to be a huge part that makes spamming or grinding easier, where you're going to get a specific blessing that is going to be really powerful, and that is diminishing blows. The first 3 elite enemies you attack have their health reduced by 75%. So basically what you do, you pick a power, whatever it is, and if you're a druid, if you can skip these, you don't have to kill any of these. You just want to get to the end of the run as possible, and you go to the end of the run, you attack the boss is going to have way less HP, and more importantly, you're also going to be getting currency, more specifically Soul Ash and Soul Cinder. So this currency is going to be used to craft legendaries, and believe me, 9.2 is going to be plagued with questions about legendaries because all of a sudden tier sets are coming in, and those tier set slots might take slots of your normal legendary slot. You're also getting double legendaries, and you're trying to fit in your tier sets, you're trying to fit in your double legendaries, on top of the fact that the tier sets on the last couple of bosses are higher item levels, so you kind of want to get shoulders and chest for tier sets only. You don't want to craft legendaries there. Everything becomes convoluted. So getting Soul Ash and Soul Cinders from your level 9 Torghast is going to give you possible renown. It's going to give you this currency, and this currency is going to be really vital when you're going to be crafting legendaries for Mythic Plus, crafting legendaries for Raid, and then we'll talk about in the next section whether you should be using things like the Legendary Belt, what's the deal with the new Legendary Belt, how to optimize it when you get it, what to do when 9.2 hits. Let's go and get started. So patch 9.2 is launching. This is the first week. What should I do? What quests should I prepare? What is the main focus of my character progression? Can I skip anything? So this is my Resto Shaman in Zereth Mortis. I've been testing some of the quests in terms of the progression, and it all comes down to this guy, Vilo, whatever you want to call it. This is the Enlightened Quartermaster, and this is going to be opened up pretty quickly during your initial quests in Zereth Mortis. Now, this guy here is going to sell you some important things that are going to provide you a power spike to your character, and that's going to be double legendaries. That's going to be available starting at week 5. So week 5 is quite late down the line. There's a lot of things that you're going to be doing before that. So why is it worth farming Zereth Mortis from the first week onwards? And there is a big reason. You can actually skip it if you want. So the first thing, if you decide to farm Zereth Mortis, it takes around 4 to 5 weeks depending on how much you log in, depending on how many dailies, world quests, world bosses you do and things like that. There's a lot of ways to optimize your grind, but you basically want to unlock Memory of Unity. Memory of Unity is going to be available if you're revered with this reputation. So it requires the completion of a certain quest, requires Enlightened Revered. And this item, there's a lot of confusion, and it honestly confused me as well. This item is going to be available depending on your grinding 4 or 5 weeks, depending on how much you want to do it, depending on how optimal you are. And at starting week 5, I mentioned at the very start, so week 5 on, there's going to be an item that you're going to get for free, and this is going to be your legendary belt, Clasp of Unity. This item you're going to get from completing chapter 7 of your campaign. You get it for free, you don't need reputation, everybody's going to get it as long as you've done some of the quests in Zereth Mortis in terms of campaign and things like that. So most of the people are going to get this. It's going to have set stats, so it might not be great, and it's going to be item level 265, which is not upgradable. Everyone is going to get it as long as you do the campaign, and this is going to allow you to have double legendaries. This is available starting at week 5, just to showcase how it works. So let's assume this is the starting of week 5 and you completed chapter 7 of the campaign quest and you unlock Clasp of Unity. You got it for free because everyone is going to get it as long as they complete the campaign. I'm going to say it again. We're assuming you're in week or starting week 5. You have this Clasp of Unity, set amount of stats, and it gives you basically a Kyrian Vortex legendary effect to our Resto Shaman, and I also have the Riptide legendary on my gloves. So now I have double legendaries. This is all great and good. So how does this Clasp of Unity work? Let's say, for example, I want to swap away from Kyrian and I want to go Night Fae. So what's going to happen? I can just go through the dialogue, swap to Night Fae, and then all of a sudden, if I hover over my Clasp of Unity, it'll gain the effect of Seed of the Rampant Growth. Each pulse of Fate Transfusion damage reduces the cooldown of Healing Tide. So now, the belt gave me the Covenant legendary of which Covenant I'm part of. It does it automatically, you don't have to do anything, and it's very, very convenient. Unfortunately, the item level on this legendary is capped at 265. I said this multiple times, and that is a big disadvantage, plus also the stats, you cannot change that. So now we're back to our shaman, and basically we're going into week 1, and we're talking about the reasons to grind this Memory of Unity. So I talked about the fact that at week 5, chapter 7, campaign quest, free belt, which works really great with your Covenant specific legendaries, really amazing, but it's capped on item level. So this is why you want to grind Zereth Mortis, and you want to grind it. And again, I talked about 4 to 5 weeks, but it's on average 25 days if you log in every day and you do everything. And this is determined by Wowhead and things like that. You can read an article in terms of what you need to do. So let's say 25 days after the patch is released and you've been grinding Zereth Mortis, you've been grinding it pretty well, you'll be able to unlock Memory of Unity, and this is going to allow you to craft the second legendary on multiple slots. And the advantages of crafting the second legendary is going to be that you're able to upgrade this legendary to the max level, which is going to be 291, and you can put any stats on it. So if you want to min-max your character, you'll definitely will grind Zereth Mortis every single day for 25 days, and on average you will be able to buy this, and you will be able to craft the Covenant specific legendary on many different slots and upgrade it to 291 and put a specific stats that you need in a class. Again, there's going to be confusion in terms of what slots to put in because there's going to be tier sets. Again, I talked about the fact that the chest and shoulder tier piece from the last bosses will have higher item levels, so you want those to be tier set slots. You don't want to craft legendaries in chest or shoulders. But once you get this, you'll be able to min-max your character. If you don't feel like grinding Zereth Mortis every single day, if you don't feel like min-maxing, if you don't like the whole login every day and having to do these quests, you honestly can still take it easy or just stick with your belt. You will get this by starting week 5 by completing chapter 7 of the campaign quest, and the campaign quest is not too much of a grind. So It is going to depend on how much min-maxing you want to do, and Blizzard kind of did allow you to skip the zone to some extent, but I know that a lot of people are going to be logging in every single day and continuing with Quartia 2.0. But hey Maskers, what about the first couple of weeks? What do I focus on in terms of Mythic Plus, in terms of Mythic Plus rewards, in terms of rating? What do I try to do in terms of optimize my character? And this is where we're gonna bring out the calendar. Again, I talked about the fact that patch is launching 23rd or 22nd, depending on whether you're going to be NA, 22nd for NA or Tuesday, and Wednesday is going to be for EU. This week, very chill week. The first week, you're basically just unlocking Zereth Mortis, and I talked about the fact, if you want to grind, if you want to get Covenant-specific Legendary on different slot than a belt, you want to grind Enlightened Reputation, and that involves logging in every single day and trying to optimize it for around 25 days. If you don't want to do that, you just want to do the campaign quest, and you might get you will get the belt starting at week 5. So, depending on which type of player you are. I will be logging in every single day. I will be going to Zereth Mortis. I'll unlock Zereth Mortis. I'll be doing it, again, trying to optimize world bosses, world quests, and rares. So, grinding week, Zereth Mortis week, nothing else or not much is going on. In terms of Mythic Plus, this is the preseason. You're not gonna get new rewards. You're not gonna get the new season affix. It's going to be tormented. So basically, there's not a lot of reason to do Mythic Plus outside of the fact that you want to complete a plus 19 in time, maybe plus 20 in time. And the reason you want to complete plus 19 or plus 20 in time is because the following week, and that's going to be the first or second, depending on which region, is going to be the Chaos week. Everything unlocks here. Season 3 starts. You're gonna get the first 8 bosses for normal and heroic. You're going to be doing raiding, you're going to be doing Mythic Plus, you're still going to be grinding Zereth Mortis every single day, trying to get your reputation, depending if you want to get that memory, and I talked about this at the very start of the video. So, you want to do the first week, 19 or plus 20 in time. This is going to give you a plus 15 or a plus 16 key on the first or the second. You want to grind Zereth Mortis, and you want to sort out your legendaries depending on which slot. Again, there's a lot of things to figure out. This is going to be when Chaos is going to be everywhere. I talked about the fact that the Season 3 affix is going to happen, and it's going to be all over the place. This is why I said to do 19 or 20 in time, which is going to give you a plus 15 or a plus 16 key. Preferably, you do a plus 20 in time on the previous week, so you get a plus 16 key, because the new seasonal affix encrypted is going to be confusing for new people. You cannot use domination gear, and it's going to be more difficult to do a 15 or 16. It's going to be significantly more different by a couple of levels. So I expect a lot of people to fail a plus 15 key while trying to get their weekly chest rewards and things like that. So I advise people to get a plus 16 and try and run it with friends, with a group of people who have 16s, and you try to run keys in order to get more rewards. Again, you're trying to get 4 dungeons or 10 dungeons done this week because it's going to give you more weekly rewards. And that is a lot of dungeons to do. A lot of dungeons to practice encrypted affix, but you have to also keep in mind the item level is going to be capped. You're going to be getting max 255 item level. So it is still worth doing Mythic Plus, but the item level is going to be capped, and it's not worth upgrading this gear with Valor, because you're going to be getting higher item level next week. So March 1st and 2nd is going to be the week where you're going to be doing a lot of Mythic Plus. The item level for end of the dungeon items is going to be capped at 255, so there's not a lot of reason to upgrade that gear. There is going to be raid available, normal and heroic. The first 8 bosses, you have to remember there's time gating, is going to be available. And again, you're probably going to be running normal and heroic because you want to get tier sets as soon as possible, because tier sets are going to be a pretty significant upgrade or power spike to any of the classes. And then finally, the 8 or 9, depending on which region you are in, this is going to be the Mythic Raid release. And here, everything kind of starts. Mythic Raiding is going to be open. You're going to have the last couple of bosses open on Heroic Normal. And the item level for Mythic Plus is no longer going to be capped. So you're going to be progressing on Mythic Raiding. You're still probably going to be doing Heroic, maybe Normal, to try and get your 4 set or 4 pieces and things like that, depending on how unlucky you are. And you're also going to be spamming Mythic Plus, because Mythic Plus is going to be a really good way to fill in the gaps. You can also do PvP, but I don't do a lot of PvP, so I'm not going to include it in this guide because this is what I'm trying to do. Again, keep in mind, guys, these are the first 3 weeks or a couple of weeks of the patch release. The power spike from double legendaries is happening at the start of the 5th week, so you don't really even worry about double legendaries for a really long time. Basically, you're trying to get your tier set, you're trying to do your Mythic Plus, you're trying to get your raids, and trying to get your tier sets complete. At the same time, you're also farming Zereth Mortis every single day to try and get that memory of Unity, if you want to optimize and have a higher item level legendary. And you have to keep in mind that at week 8 you're also gonna have a creation catalyst, which there's not a lot of things that are being said about this yet, but you will be able to convert a non-tier piece to a tier piece set, and you might actually be able to keep tertiary stats and things like that. So I would advise people to keep items with leech and things like that in the bag. There is a chance those items are still gonna have value coming into week 8. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about Creation Catalyst yet. I'm talking about the first couple of weeks. If you want a whole summary, basically the first week, very chill. Grinding Zeret Mortis, doing Mythic Plus, trying to get your plus 19s or 20s in time, and that is during the 22nd, 23rd week. We will be opening Season 3. Season 3 is going to have Mythic Plus item levels capped, which is fine. You still want to do a plus 15s because you want to get your rewards, and you're going to have your normal and heroic raid open, the first 8 bosses, and then the 8th week, Mythic is released. Mythic Plus is uncapped in terms of item level, and you're going ham. And then you're waiting until you can unlock your second legendary, and that's going to happen at the start of week 5, and it's going to be depending on how much how much grind you put in. And this is basically the summary of what I'm going to be doing. Let me know, guys, how you feel about this video. I know I missed out on a lot of different facts in terms of where to craft legendaries, because where to craft legendaries is going to be really awkward and dependent on our class. I still hope that Blizzard is going to add additional slots to craft your legendaries, because let's say, for example, you're a Restoration Shaman and you're trying to use the Riptide legendary, which is crafted on head or gloves. Both of those slots are kind of taken up by tier sets, and now you have to choose. I don't want this to be the case for legendaries where you can be the luck can run out for you. So I hope Blizzard is actually going to add a hotfix and change or add more slots to where you can craft your legendaries. Let's hope. Let me know how you feel about this video, and I'll see you in my next guide.